Hi BookTube and happy Friday. This has been a very quick week for me. I feel like for a lot of people with Monday off and the work week just flew by. I felt like every day almost felt like a Friday, like it should be Friday, and we're finally here now, and I have the rest of the day to enjoy, and then the weekend, even though it's not a long weekend, I have plenty of plans. It is gray and gloomy outside. I feel like we are getting into the fall season quite a bit early, but I'm not complaining. It's perfect reading weather, and as far as my plans go, I really would like to do some daily vlogs because I know I've been doing daily videos, but I was thinking at least on Saturday and Sunday throughout the rest of the month, I would like to try and do some vlogs, whether it's all day what I'm doing or just the reading part or the cooking part. Some kind of snippet of my day would be good. And so that's what I'm planning to do over the weekend. But other than the video part of my plans, I really want to just focus on reading and doing some cleaning and probably some cooking. I'm in the mood for like the fall baking and things like that. So I'm thinking of making like a chili and maybe some kind of spiced bread, maybe like a apple spiced bread or something like that, or like an apple cake. And I'll try and film something like that because I in the past when I have done some daily vlogs and I've included the cooking, I always enjoy that because I do enjoy watching other people incorporate cooking and things like that in their video because it's just very cozy and it's something I enjoy doing. It's one of my passions outside of reading is baking and experimenting with different cuisines and things like that. So let's get into the reading part of this. So I am in the middle of several books, and I want to get them read so I can move on with some new books because I want to read at least a book a day. And since some of these are so short, I would like to read like 2 books a day on the weekend. I think that would be nice. So the first book I am in the middle of is In Grandma's Attic by Arletta Richardson, and I found the complete series of this outside of one book later on in the series, like towards the middle. And they all kind of remind me of Anne of Green Gables in a way, but I am more than halfway through. It's so slim. It's like barely 100 pages. But in this first book, it's all like mini short stories. And when I say short, I mean very short. Like even the pages themselves are small. It's like 3 or 4 pages per story. But it's about a little girl who is sitting with her grandma going through like a button bag. They even had a story on where the bag came from, the little basket the buttons are in, or it's like looking at different squares on a quilt and she's just going through where that little square came from. Like, oh, my mom wore that at such and such party. So it's very nice, sweet, wholesome stories. And but because it's not a straight narrative, there's no story plot that's pulling you all the way through. I've been just picking it up here and there, but I only have like 50 pages to go, so I would like to finish this soon so I can move on to another like short story kind of book that would, like, you know, because I like having these short story books running throughout my month. In fact, I have 2 like big chunky books that I had ongoing from back in June, and I need to get to those. They're for sure not Shorty September books. They're like 500 plus page books, but yeah. And so I like these kind of story or essay collection type books to have throughout my year, but they can talk about the year, they can drag on for quite a while. So there's the good and bad of that. And then the other book I'm in the middle of is Sally Ann by Susan Scarlett. This is my main focus right now. I just started it yesterday, and this is my second book, by Susan Scarlett, and it's a pseudonym for Noelle. I have one of the books on my shelf. Let me see if I can find it. It's like one of the dancing shoes series. Let me see. I have one up here. Yeah, it's the Noelle Streatfeild author, and she wrote all the shoe books, like dancing shoes, ballet shoes, things like that. And so she also wrote these adult or like young adult kind of books. I'm just basing that off the 2 books. Well, the one book I read, and now I'm in the middle of this one. But I love the covers. I love how they all have this like house design to them, like the old-fashioned clothes. And in this one, you're following Anne, and she's called Sally Ann because she gets pulled into posing for Sally at as a part of a wedding party because one of the bridesmaids gets sick. And so she is, and it's like the moneyed class, and she is definitely not a part of that. But she gets pulled in, like not really knowing anyone in the group, because she herself is a beautician. So she just goes over to do their makeup, and it's part of her job. And then she gets like pulled into the wedding party, and then of course meets a man, and the man is very intrigued by her, but she's like pushing him off nicely, but just, you know, like keeping her distance. And then, you know, I'm like right down the middle of the book, and they're getting closer together, and he's like trying to figure out the mystery of like, you know, who are you? Why are you acting this way? And keeping, he's not used to people, you know, keeping such a distance from him. So we'll see what I think of that. And then the last book is an audiobook, because I always have like an audiobook ongoing throughout the week. And this is one I heard about as part of a YouTube series that, well, now I'm like blinking on the author, but the author has a bookstore in Tennessee, so she does regular book reviews, and it's driving me crazy. I'm gonna have to look it up on here on YouTube, because she makes like daily videos. So if I can find it really, especially on Fridays, she does a Parnassus Books. Ann Patchett, there you go, Ann Patchett. She, I heard about this book from her, because she does like new to you books, like they're not brand new, but they're new to you if you haven't read them, on Friday. And so she mentioned this book a couple of weeks ago, and so it sounded intriguing. And this is If You're in My Office, It's Already Too Late, a divorce lawyer's guide to staying together, by James J. Sexton Esquire. So this is the audiobook I'm listening to, and it's humorous and sad, as you would expect, because the divorce lawyer has seen and heard it all. Like he freely admits, like there's almost nothing you could say that would surprise or shock him. And really, like so far with the gist that I've gotten from this is like, whether you're in a marriage or you're in a friendship or your boss employee relationship, no matter what it is, you need to communicate, and you need to express your feelings and not hold them in. That seems to be what I have gathered so far. I'm about a third of the way through this book. But yeah, it's very, very interesting for sure. And I feel like you could read this whether you're married or not, or divorced or not, or you know, you're having troubles or what have you. I think it would be just enlightening on like the, you know, social aspects of any kind of relationship. Okay, so now we're gonna go to books that I haven't read, my weekend reading plans. So the very first book I want to get to like immediately is one of the Shaktember plays, because I made it a goal at the beginning of this month that I wanted to read all of the plays that the Shaktember hosts are going to be reading. There's 3 different hosts, and they're all doing different videos throughout the month. And so I wrote down all of the plays, and this first one here, King Lear, is a play that Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, she's going to be doing a review of the film adaptation. So I'm hoping to read this and watch the film. This is King Lear. So I'm going to start with this one before I go. I'm just going to read them in order, basically. And the next one is Pericles, something like that. And so I would like to read at least this one, maybe the second one, like maybe read one today on Friday and then the other one on Sunday. Just every couple of days read one of these plays, because they're pretty short. And I do want to get through all of them. I don't want to rush. I don't want to make it stressful or anything like that. But I want to make a point to include Shakespeare in my month. Okay, so then going on to the physical books, because I have quite a few behind me, and so since I'm reading Shakespeare and the divorce book and the ebook and all of that, I wanted to make it a little lightness mixed in. So I'm going to be reading the one picture book I have for Shorty Shaktember, and the only picture book I own that I haven't read yet. This is The Three Sedonas by Lisa Schnepply Hedinger, illustrated by Trevor Swanson. And I so want to go to Sedona. I've never been to this area or Tucson. I've been to Phoenix and I've been to Flagstaff. So like I've done like the in between from where Sedona is. But yeah, it's gonna be a really quick, very, very pretty read. And I wanted to get to this sooner than later because, like I said, the gray clouds are coming and it doesn't seem to we're gonna have much sun in the forecast. So I wanted to read this while it still felt hot enough to read it. Speaking of that, the nonfiction book I picked for this weekend is Still Cove Journal by Gladys Tabor. This is her nonfiction book on, or like a memoir in a way, of her beach house in Cape Cod. So I wanted to read this beach book before it's not going to be any beach weather coming. It's just, I feel like there's going to be rain and just gloom in the forecast. So I wanted to read this rather quickly. And yeah, and Gladys Taber, she never fails to disappoint. I've read many of her books, and they're all like cozy and warm, and often they go seasonally throughout the year, so they can start in January or some random month, and it'll go, you know, for the full year. And let me see if this one does that. Let's see. Because often each chapter, yeah, so this is starting in April, and it goes all the way through to March. So yeah, like I said, they can start, it's really odd how they can start at any time of the year. Often like the yearly books I have for other authors will start January through December, but I feel like almost all of her books that are yearly like this are just randomly start whenever I guess she got the whim to pick up her pen and start writing. And then the last book I have here, you know, like we're going all over the place, I feel like, is a YA, or, you know, young adult book. This is the first book. And what is the name of this series? The Cedar River Daydream series. This is New Girl in Town by Judy Bayer. These are one of the like older like 80s or 90s books. And I found this on a recent trip when I was in Seattle. This is 1988. And I was just looking, because this was during Garb August. So I feel like even like with my reading, but also with my book shopping, it can take twists and turns depending on like what reading events are happening. So it's funny how like these, you know, BookTube is like infiltrating my mind, not just what books I'm currently reading, but the books that I'm looking at in the bookstores. So yeah, Garb August was taking place, and so I was using that as a jumping off point for reading like The Babysitter's Club and like or Sweet Valley High, like those older books that I grew up reading. And so I was looking at what else they had on those similar shelves. And so this is a series I've never heard of before. It was published by, let me see, Bethany House Publishers. So I think Bethany House, I might be completely wrong, but I think they write like Christian-based fiction. So yeah, looking forward to this one and see what I make of it. It says, she's been popular back home. Why was it so hard to make friends now? So it's like, you know, new girl in town, starting school. And I felt like when I was looking at my shelves for like these YA books to fit the shorty September, like starting school is perfect for September. So those are my plans. I don't exactly have a reading. Oh man, I could kind of do it. So I have these physical books, and then I have the audiobook and the play, and then the one ebook. So I have a nice mix of formats for reading. Yeah, so yeah, I'm all over the place, and I'm feeling quite chatty, but also like winding down now from working, and now I just need to make time for reading. But yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.